Bill, you learn a lot about your players over the course of the weeks you've been with them. Today, a little bit of a footballing lesson from Gateshead?
I would agree 100% there. I think you learn a lot more from the players in defeat than what you do in victory, if truth be known. I don't think they've been leading me up the garden path by any stretch of the imagination. You know, with the victories that we've had have been nothing short of brilliant. You know, the way we've addressed every situation, we seem to have got through it. Today it was a bridge too far, and I know we make reference to the Tyne Bridge, Newcastle and Gateshead, but Gateshead were a better team by a long way. I've just said congratulations to their manager, the players. I shook their hands, and I really mean it. They'll be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. I know you've got your Chesterfields to catch and playoffs, etc., but the way they play football is admirable. We tried to deal with it. We had a plan. We didn't change the system. We went after them to a certain extent. I thought the press worked in the first half, if truth be known. And then you're relying on your defenders to stay focused and concentrate. And we've conceded a couple of bad goals, which have been uncharacteristic. We haven't slipped into you know, falling asleep mode. You know, we haven't individually let anybody down. I think everybody's put their bodies on the line for the 90-95 minutes, which you have to. But today there was a couple of silly mistakes and little mistakes, not big ones, but which led to their victory. Having said that, you know, I've got to say my goalkeeper was probably one of the better players on the park, which you have to when you come up against better opposition. But there's some, you know, there was one or two good performances individually. But there was also one or two that left a lot to be desired, and that's the moment I think as a group we have to look at each other and say, can we give 100% for every game, because that's what we'll need from now to the end of the season if we're going to survive. And it hasn't gone past that. You know, that mindset of survival is still intact. This is the first taste of defeat since we've come in, and it's not nice. It doesn't feel nice. They didn't see the best part of me at half time, and there was a reaction, a positive reaction in the second half, but at the same time, you know, Gateshead could have won comfortably. We huffed and puffed in the final third. I think that's the biggest, probably the biggest problem that we've got, is when them moments come along that we're not really committing to them moments and putting the ball in the back of the net. So the handbrake seems to have gone back on, unfortunately, in the last couple of games. We've got to see it. We weren't good enough or focused enough in the final third to break down Dorking. Today was a much more difficult task, but we matched them in terms of the physical running. But that quality in the final third, I think it was there for everybody to see that Gateshead were far better than us in that final third.
Many fans were saying that when Harriers conceded the second goal, Phil, that there was no response. I say not response in terms of the physical aspect of the game, but no response in that, just that little bit of guile, that little bit of quality.
I think we have to keep remembering the words that we say to them on a daily basis. You know, press that reset button. I think we did press it after the first goal. We did press it at half time for sure. But when that second goal went in, I didn't like it. The way the reaction was not really one committed still to the cause, and that's what we have to be for 90 minutes every game. We haven't got time for people who are feeling sorry for. We haven't got time for people feeling sorry for themselves. You know, you've got to address the situation immediately in the game of football. If you don't, you go 3 behind, you go 4 behind. So we've got to be able to have that kind of mentality and kind of spirit. You'll probably see me red carded again between now and the end of the season if we score a set piece, because it's really frustrating me. We've got some absolute top quality coming into their penalty box, and we did it on a number of occasions today. And the size of the players that are going into that penalty box, we've got to be scoring goals from set pieces. It gets you off the hook every so often. If you're not playing well, if you're coming up against a team like Gateshead week in and week out, you've got to be able to have something in your locker that you can say, well, we're going to hurt them here at these set pieces. And as I say, I'll be on the pitch, I'll be doing a lap of honour if we score a goal from a set piece, because it might just win us the game on Saturday against Oldham. And that's what we've got to be looking for now. We've got to put this on the way behind as quickly as we possibly can, dress ourselves down on Thursday and Friday, prep for Saturday, which is a big game now.
Yeah, you say come into Oldham, it's going to be a big crowd as well, isn't it? There's probably going to be a big atmosphere, and the players are going to have to stand up to that as well.
I remember back in the days when Joe Royal was managing Oldham, and I was a player at Halifax Town, and I used to go on a Tuesday, Wednesday night when they were doing cup runs and stuff like that. The atmosphere at Oldham can be fantastic. That was back in the day when they had AstroTurf pitch. You know, it's had its ups and downs, and quite a lot of downs of late. But Mickey Mellon's doing a great job, absolutely fantastic job. I've watched them a couple of times, I've seen them play. They're resilient, they're robust, they're gritty, they're determined. But we have to be as matching in every department with that gritty, determined performance. And if we can do that on Saturday and grind a result out, like we can do, like we have done at Hartlepool, like we have done at Dagenham and Redbridge, with that travelling support, hopefully the players will be looking at that and saying, well, we can't let these down. There's 600-700 travelling from all the way from Kidderminster. We owe them a duty of service to perform. And if that's putting your body on the line, that's the least I can ask for.
Phil, do you feel that playing away from Aggborough is perhaps less stressful for the players, given the situation they find themselves in?
It's a good question. It must be something that's burning in your mind. It's certainly not something I've considered. When we've played here at Aggborough, I think the fans have been nothing short of brilliant. It was a smaller crowd tonight, and I made reference to 2 games in 3-4 days, and we're asking the crowd to turn up, and they've turned up in their thousands on Saturday, and you expect it again on the Tuesday, and it's a big ask. You know, it's a working day, we understand that. It's a school day for kids tomorrow. The Kids for a Quid scenario, that initiative was on Saturday, it wasn't on Tuesday, so it's understandable that the crowd was going to be down. We are still fighting for survival. We are still asking the Kidderminster Harriers fans to turn out. I was at a school today, and I was buoyed by the amount of young supporters we possibly got for the future. If we can harness that energy, and that's what we need to do, we have to combine the energy of what's on the field of play to the management team, to the people that are watching us and supporting us. If we can harness that energy, we'll be fine. But it has to be every game. It can't just be one game every so often. It has to be every game, and it starts on Saturday. Now that we've not really performed tonight,